Dwayne, and today's Quality Minute is focused on temporary protections in winter conditions. I'm out here on a project. You can see our work with our scaffolding on a temporary enclosure. We do have off to the left, some of the owner has some landscape work in progress. So we're not going to focus on that scope of work, which is their work, but we're going to focus on the work that is under our contract. On this enclosure here, you can see the importance of this is to maintain a workable condition for the work being performed on the other side of this for our guys. Our work scope here involves masonry repairs and also some carpentry work to redo a ceiling. So the intent of this enclosure is to maintain a workable temperature of 40 degrees and above, and that is going to be dictated for a minimum we're going to try to maintain on all our projects through the winter months, so we have a little buffer there before you get down to the freezing temperatures. But like any project, as part of our project startup, we need to review the manufacturer's installations instructions and confirm what those constraints are. Not only we check what the ambient temperature is, but also the surface temperatures. And we'll show you some more means that we have on the inside of this project as we move forward. So we're currently in the inside of this temporary enclosure. As you can see, there's extensive scaffolding for our masonry repair work. As you can see in front of us here, we have a natural gas heater. That's one of two in the space that's actually keeping this space temperature above 40 degrees in a nice workable condition. Again, it's important to maintain 40 degrees and above. And we have heat. We have multiple options. We have natural gas, we have electric, and we also have liquid propane. Out of the three, the liquid propane, if we have it on the interior setting, is going to provide or elevate the relative humidity and potentially have condensation as an issue within those projects. So it's something we're going to have to review on each project for specifics to see what's the best solution. And like any means we have in place that is going to be burning, we want to make sure we work with our safety department to make sure we have proper ventilation and those procedures in place. Material storage is a huge thing for the winter conditions. This project is utilizing mortar. All their storage of the materials is on the inside of the enclosure and is elevated off the ground, and it's protected from the elements. This is a must, as we do for our materials, especially during the winter months. For again, all of our projects, we want to make sure we're doing our due diligence for ambient and surface temperatures. It's part of our means in the field. We actually have heat guns or temperature guns that we actually have stocked in the quality department and in the yard. So if your project has any concerns, please make sure that you reach out to myself or the yard, and we'll get you a gun. But this is a very important tool for us to have to take surface temperatures and to make sure that we are above those manufacturers' requirements for their installation. And again, with anything, we should be documenting temperatures daily, surface and ambient temperatures daily in our quality reports, and we should be utilizing the cold weather procedures checklist and Procore. If there's any questions, please feel free. But again, you can see this enclosure. We are probably maintaining about 50 degrees in here right now. We just had a delivery of some orders, so the opening was open, so we did let some cool air in here. But again, it's about 32 degrees outside and about 50 degrees on the ground, and up on our deck where we're working is probably 60 to 70 degrees, if not warmer. So this is an ideal enclosure and means that we want to have in place for our projects. Part of the challenge of this project was separating ourselves, our work area, which is on the other side of this visqueen enclosure here, from this existing ballroom. As you can see, the ballroom has extensive timber structure. It's historical in nature and quite stunning, to say the least. So one of our challenges was to make sure that we are maintaining, keeping this side of the enclosure warm and keeping our work area warm, but also having means in place that we can make sure that we don't have drops in temperatures in this space and potentially cause damage to the existing finishes here. Again, you can see a nice job with our enclosure. All the joints have been taped and sealed. We have actually 3 electric heaters in this space. Again, electric heaters We're chosen for this space due to the nature, and again, with all the wood here, we didn't want any combustibles within this space, so we're utilizing 3 electric heaters. That is, again, maintaining a nice temperature here of probably in the 60s. We'll take a shoot a temperature here with the wood paneling, and you can see we're 60 degrees. So again, nice job here on this temporary enclosure. But again, you can also see this enclosure is our separation too from our workspace. We have the filters here, and again, it's to keep any dust or debris coming out of this space. As part of our projects, we will be replacing the dance floor here, the wood floor, and some of the finishes of the space. But again, the focus on this was to make sure we're maintaining adequate heat so we are not damaging any of the existing timber in the space. Technology we're utilizing in this project are actually temperature sensors. You can see here we have our sensor, and we actually have a remote sensor on the other side of the room. But this sensor is set up so we can monitor ranges of acceptable humidity and then temperatures, and then if we have any breaches in those constraints, it will send an email or a text to the project team and myself, and then we can address it immediately. And, you know, if we have to send out a crew to respond to it if there was a loss of heat or a loss of the enclosure. But this is something that we need to talk about more on our setup projects, our setup meetings, and to see if there's a need for these on projects. A great tool, relatively inexpensive cost to a project, but it's something that is it definitely pays for itself because we're able to maintain and monitor the conditions to make sure we're not having any issues down the road. In addition to this technology, some of our projects have leak sensors. So we also have hockey pucks, or we have ropes that can be utilized on projects. And again, it's something we can discuss in our project startup meetings with the teams, make sure that we're utilizing the correct technology to make sure we're documenting and have means in place to review our existing conditions.